Allora, per chi se lo fosse chiedendo, questo evento è stato creato per fare in modo per rendere omaggio alle persone afroamericane nei videogiochi. Ora, tra 34 minuti parte l'evento. Tra pochi minuti parte l'evento. Tra poco l'evento parte, tra 3 minuti. Allora, per chi vuole seguire questo evento, questo evento che vedremo darà voce alle persone afroamericane nei videogiochi, ma invece chi vuole vedere le novità, tipo quello che vedremo di Baldur's Gate 3 e altre cose, purtroppo gli eventi sono il 13, il 14 e il 15 giugno. tra poco parte l'evento. Chi lo vuole seguire lo segua, se no lasci perdere. Oh. Mentre aspettiamo che inizi, poi ora allora, l'evento dedicato a Electronic Arts è stato spostato al 18 giugno. È stato spostato. Tra 26 minuti parte l'evento. Annosi le scarpe, oh, tanto, tempo. $740.000. Visti i totali, 740.000. Campionato, perché fuori classe non ci si nasce, ci si diventa allacciandosi le scarpe. Oh, no. Non tanto. Tra 18 minuti si parte. Chi vuole vedere la live, la diretta, la vede. Chi è questo? Rischio finale nell'ultima di campionato, perché fuori classe non ci si nasce, ci si diventa lasciandosi le scarpe. Oh, non soltanto io nel campo. Tutto ad un fiato fino al fischio finale nell'ultima di campionato ci si diventa lasciandosi le scarpe. Tanta. nell'ultimo anno di campionato. Tra 11 minuti vai. sta partendo un evento. Black Voices in the Gaming significa, stavo facendo vedere questo evento per chi se lo chiede e per rendere omaggio alle persone afroamericane nei videogiochi. Ecco qua, ci siamo, l'evento sta partendo. L'evento sta per partire. Tra pochi minuti l'evento parte. Ci siamo.
What is poppin', everybody? My name is Justin Woodward, the co-founder of the Media Indie Exchange and Interrobang Entertainment. I'm a game developer myself, and also one of the co-organizers of the Guerrilla Collective. We are here at the Guerrilla Collective to celebrate Black voices in gaming. It's been a tumultuous time right now. It's been really crazy with everything happening. Yeah, man, it's been really crazy. We all came together to form the Guerrilla Collective, the mix, kind of funny, a bunch of amazing publishers and developers in order to make a conglomerate of awesome games that has diversity showcased. So I am here with Alfonso Hooker, who is representing Gameheads. So tell me a little bit about yourself and we'll get into it.
All right. I've been in the tech industry about 25 years. And I joined Gameheads as like a sort of a fan of the program, and decided I was going to help them in the system program. They essentially needed somebody to do some tech stuff for them, and it turned out it went from being helping the program to essentially being the board chair and running and teaching the DevOps program. And I've been helping the students since for the last 3.5 years, and it's been an amazing experience working with these students.
Yeah, so Gameheads is really it's a dope program. I saw it for the first time a few years ago. I met you. I interacted with some of the developers, saw everything that was going on, and when this whole opportunity came up, we were going to do the Guerrilla Collective this weekend, and it got pushed back for forces that we couldn't really control. And because of that happened, it gave us an opportunity to really speak. Like I think we allow our work to speak for itself and everything. And we wanted to make this happen, talk to amazing Black game developers, and then I have a charity associated with that. So one of the charities is Gameheads. We are going to allow people to help put money towards that charity and keep things rolling.
Awesome. And one of the things about Gameheads that is super important is the fact that we serve youth of color and women, underserved youth of color. And what's super important about this program is that the program is 100% free, and that we serve this community.
Okay, cool. So we have someone on the line, an amazing developer showing Swim Sanity. We're going to run the trailer and then play the game. And that's what this is all about, is playing games, talking to Black developers. It's going to be dope.
That's what's up.
Let's roll. So that was Swim Sanity from Decoy Games. We have Ahmed on the line. This dude is going to be driving. Actually, I'm going to be playing with him and asking questions too. But we met Ahmed. I met Ahmed for the first time. Salute. I heard you were digging those beats. You were. We got to hear. I can't hear him. You good?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello.
Okay. Hello. I can't hear him. Yep.
Let's see if I can.
Just a second.
Hello.
Yo. What's up, Ahmed?
Can you hear me?
How's it going?
Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah. We heard you were grooving to those beats.
I was over here just rocking and waiting. So
that's actually from my boy Tamar, TQ, who we were like, yo, we want some beats for today. So this whole experience is authentic. And I was like, this is perfect for the countdown. But
I 100% agree.
But yeah, thanks for joining us. I remember when we met for the first time, as obviously I'm a Black developer as well. So I was, as I'm putting together the mix, with everybody, I don't know who is a behind each game, right? It's like, we're just playing the games, seeing dope stuff. And then when I met you in person and your brother, I was like, wow, another I'm just being extremely honest on this stream, right? It's like
that Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's like a bunch of, yeah, exactly. And every time, because we're so underrepresented, it's like every time you meet someone who is of color, you just immediately connect, because a lot of times we want to make sure that the work speaks for itself, so before we jump into the game, we want to ask you a few questions about how you got started and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, just really excited to be here and really thank you guys for creating this platform. I think it's a really good movement, and I think everyone will benefit from it. But as you said, I started game development about 10 years ago. We started while we were in college. We were actually doing it on the side. So I'm a self-taught developer. I didn't have any experience making any big games or anything like that. We build with Unity. Our first game was SimSanity. It started off as a Flash game. It was called SimSanity, Mooba Jive the Scuba Diver. It was just like this little guy. Yeah, it was a terrible name. My brother's on the stream, so I can make fun of him for the name. It's this little guy on the screen that's just collecting gold, bring it back up to his boat. So that was when he started doing development. And then we saw this and we kind of knew, like, okay, we can take this and actually make real games. But even when we started, we always had the goal to get on consoles. That was like our main thing. We wanted to be full console developers. We had no idea what that meant. Like, you can go to the portal for PlayStation, it says you have to be a professional video game developer. Like, I'm like, do I need a badge? I need to do that. Can I just submit? So, we just started building up on the game and started going to conventions. We love interacting with people over time. And people really caught on the game. We just built into a 4-player underwater shooter, competitive cooperative game modes. And here we are now, very close to release, going to be on Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and Steam.
Damn, that's
dope. Same time.
That's dope. Let's get started. Let's play the game. And I'm gonna attempt to play and ask you questions at the same time. So
you're making excuses already? I see.
Exactly. I gotta make those excuses already. Yeah, I totally feel what you're talking about. That's exactly, personally, when I was getting into the game, is like, I want to make a console game because that's what I grew up with, right? And it was definitely a challenge, but making that happen is kind of like a dream come true. So I could totally kind of feel where you're coming from.
Yeah, and we always wanted to be in a position where we were self-published as well. So doing it while being self-published was big for us. So to get on the platforms was just a great blessing, and we're really, really excited to be having this opportunity. All right, so they're playing Adventure. So this is one of our many game modes here. So Adventure, you can play up to 4 players locally online. So you guys got to move forward, get to the map as quickly as possible. What's going to eventually happen is they're going to have this big whale that's going to chase them across the map. So it plays like a dual stick shooter. When they get damage on the enemies, they'll be able to unleash some sanity. So you guys saw those big power moves happen on the screen. The players will be able to unleash, and they can actually connect unleashes to have them be more powerful.
So how do I switch weapons and things like that?
Yep, so L trigger to switch the weapon. So you have like a missile right now.
Oh, sick. Okay,
there you go. So he has his unleash ready. Hit that L trigger to unleash. Hit that Y button to unleash. My bad. There we go. So freeze your enemies.
Things happen. Okay, cool. So this
one,
you guys is
can keep, there you go.
This one's a co-op like mode. This isn't necessarily okay, cool.
So everything we did, we have 8 game modes, but we wanted to make every game mode really feel like it could really ship on its own game. So
that's cool.
Our adventure mode they're playing right now, it's a co-op, but our full versus experience was kind of a fan favorite. We always have tournaments going to showcases. You can play online ranked matchmaking and have leaderboards and all the good stuff you'd expect in a game like that.
How long have you guys been developing this game? SimSanity.
Yeah, SimSanity was really our prototype, right? So we used it to learn how to develop games. So as I said, it started even as a Flash game to work its way all over the console, whether it was first single player, now 4-player. I mean, we built it and broke it down probably about 3 times. Even as recently as really like a year ago, just to make sure online play was built in the way that we want to be built.
That's cool. What were some of the challenges that you had during production? You said that you built it from the ground up multiple times.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest challenges we just had was we really that online to feel really slow. So the online play is actually built with that predict rollback code. A lot of my fighter fans know and love to have in games. So The online experience is very smooth, but in order to have that, we had to really kind of break it down.
You
got to teleport if you need to. See if they make it. And boom, got taken out there.
So are you
that was one of the biggest challenges we had.
Did you use? Are you using GGPO or just
no,
your own rollback netcode?
Yeah, we're using a tool called Quantum, so it has rollback predict, so you can expect a really smooth online experience.
That's cool. So you want to? So we're in the studio. So Ryan, give us a just. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure that we're good to go.
Keep going ahead. Keep going
ahead. That's hilarious.
If you guys want to jump into another mode, you guys could try versus.
Yeah, let's try versus. I want to smash you up. Although I was like,
I want to see who's best on the stream. Let's go. Let's get some trash talking here.
All right, let's go to the main menu. Yes, sir. Cool. And you guys throw your own events. Game On, right?
Yeah. So back in February, we threw an event called Game On. I was focused on Black excellence in the community, and kind of as you said too, our goal was to kind of show other people that there really are people of color doing amazing things in the industry, and we wanted to gather those people and have them connect and kind of start something where we can really allow people to move forward. For us, the way we got into the industry, it always was just this one connection that pushed us to the next step, whether it was getting on Xbox or Switch. Yeah. So we want to make sure everyone else has that opportunity. With Game On, we had a great event. We had the VP of NFL that was there. It's a Black woman. We had amazing streamers, a bunch of CEOs. It was really amazing event to put together, sponsored by Unity. So it's just stuff like that we love to do, as well as connect with the community on gaming.
And you guys are located in New York, correct?
We're actually located in Boston, but we're in New York all the time.
Okay.
We're in New York all the time, so we get that a lot. The community's been really, really good for us.
So Game On is in Boston.
So the Game On event, we held that right in Manhattan, right at the top store, the official flagship store.
That's awesome.
It went so well, we'll definitely be doing that again.
Cool. Yeah, it's so awesome to hear you guys. You guys are doing events as well, and it's always very helpful for the community, obviously.
All right, coming with it, brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some things and talk at the same time.
Whatever. I don't hear no excuses. No excuses, homie.
No excuses. I'm balling it up, though. I'm balling it up.
So when you play locally, too, you could play with bots as well. So if you doesn't want to have the full experience, you go with throw some bots in there.
Okay, cool. I just want to
ready, you have a missile, get that L trigger to shoot that missile.
Yeah, let's see.
See, there's power-ups and weapons you collect during the battle. So one person let out a seahorse that explodes just like that.
The seahorse. So you can continuously run, right? Or roll, right?
Yeah, so you have 6 teleports. So you see those little dots right above your HUD. That allows you to know how many you have left.
Okay.
Yep, you can teleport through the platforms as well.
Okay, dope. I just got some more. Yeah, I'm like thinking of fighting games immediately, like I'm trying to dash through stuff. But I didn't realize it was limited. I was using them all. I got smashed up by the seahorse. Excuses. Hashtag excuses.
What do you
All right.
Come with it.
So what's the release date again?
Don't do this.
Yeah, so coming out summer 2020, and we'll have our final release date very soon. Very excited to get close to the release date.
Cool.
We'll have announcements also next week, so please tune in to the Guerrilla Collective event. It's going to have some pretty cool stuff to announce there.
Yeah, Swim Sandy is going to be a part of the Guerrilla Collective event next week, and we're going to have an exclusive trailer, I believe. Also, for voices in Black Voices in Gaming, we are working with Valve to showcase demos and Steam pages for folks to wish list. And I believe you guys are a part of that, right?
Correct. So we'll be part of the Steam Summer Festival. So everything you guys are seeing today, you guys will be able to try it out, try the demo. It'll also be online enabled as well. So you guys can go and play online or play local with your friends.
Yeah.
Got him.
Hit it, fool.
Wow. You hit that Y button, unleash. There you go.
Sudden death. Like, this is it, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But yeah, make sure to wish list Insanity. It's there now. It's up now to wish list. The game is super fun. Up to 4 players, correct?
Yeah, at the floor players. You guys hit the Y button to unleash. Remember to use that. There you go.
Nice. Yeah. Oh wait, I can't get shot by that, right?
I think Red has their unleash ready too. There it is.
What? oh Lord. GG's. GG. That was super fun.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Med, for showing up. We'll catch you next week for Guerrilla Collective. And yeah, make sure to wish list the game. Check out Game On, Decoy Games. That was amazing.
Amazing game, brother. I love it. I love kicking your ass.
Fucking mad head right now. That's amazing. That was super fun. So we're just gonna keep going.
Awesome.
We got amazing stuff popping off. Next is stay tuned for Will Roger.
All right.
Will is an amazing composer. He worked on Mortal Kombat 11. Did, I believe, the sound design and the music for that. Nice. Talked a bit about him, talked with him a little bit about that before. And he also is composing and doing the audio for game New, which is an independent game. It's really awesome. Worked on Crystal Dynamics, on Tomb Raider, I believe, and some other projects. So it'll be on to talk with him and showcase New. So let's roll to the trailer. Check it out.
Bello. Wow. Unknown. Okay.
So that was the dope trailer for a new. The game is sick. I first witnessed the game, checked out the game on Kickstarter, and then when I was working at Fig for publishing, I was like, oh, we got to get that game. We're gonna get that game, and then it had a successful Kickstarter, and then the next time I saw it was at the Mix, actually, where it was being showcased in LA for E3. And I met Will for the first time, and the rest of the team. So we got Will on the line. What is happening, Will?
Hey, how's it going?
All right. Okay, cool. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
cool. I can hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
perfect.
Awesome. It's nice to see you again. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. I mean, unfortunately, obviously, E3 and GDC couldn't happen this year. But again, thank you so much for having us on this program.
Yeah, for sure. And guess where we're at? Where you're on the podcast. So we're in Wilmer Sound Studios. We set everything up here, the whole
Nice.
situation. So we have a proper studio, sound studio and everything. And I met Will and actually had an engaging conversation for the first time here during our podcast. So it's great to have you back and talk to you. It's really fascinating your experience in the game space. I did not know, the wealth of experience you had. So can you tell a little bit about your background before we hop into the game?
Sure. Yeah. I specialize in game music. Just sorry to make a brief correction, but I don't do sound design for games. I just focus on the music.
Oh, sorry about that.
So no worries. So I started quite a long time ago, and eventually I made my way to LucasArts as a music editor. And then from there, I started to write original scores for Star Wars games like The Old Republic, the MMO, as well as Star Wars First Assault and Monkey Island 2 Special Edition. And then after LucasArts ended, I started my independent career as a music composer. And that's when I did Lara Croft's Temple of Osiris, Dead Island 2, and eventually Call of Duty World War II, Mortal Kombat 11, Star Wars Vader Immortal, and now The Distant Light. And that's kind of
that's super dope.
My background, pretty much. Yeah.
It's really cool to see that you're doing that and to make that connection like we were talking about before. It's like when I am able to see another Black developer, someone in games, it's like an immediate connection, just because there's so few of us. It's awesome. Also, I was geeking out about Mortal Kombat at the time when we talked, because I'm so obsessed. And to know that you were a part of that process was really great. And then to make the connection that you're also doing things independently, that's amazing as well. So yeah, we have a new here. We're gonna play the game. This dude's gonna drive. Let's hop into it. So can you tell us how you got locked into it? How did you jump into this game and into the team?
Yeah, it's interesting. This was a long time ago. It must have been the end of 2014, maybe early 2015, that I started on this project. And I believe Jeff Spoonhauer was our... before I start, this game is made by only 2 people. So it's really weird to say who does what, because literally it's 2 people making the whole game, Steve Copeland and Jeff Spoonhauer. But Jeff, who's more of the artist, he played Lara Croft's Temple of Osiris, and I guess he liked the music. And so he reached out to me, and he showed me just a brief visual demo of it was kind of like a look development thing where they were showing some of the day-night cycles in the first level. And I just thought it was so gorgeous. And, I'd worked on high-profile, franchise titles for quite some time, but I really wanted some sort of an indie project that was more focused on making kind of a very artistic statement, if that makes sense. Not needing to be big, but instead very focused and personal, I guess is the way I want to say it, and unique. And this was exactly it. I mean, I feel so lucky that it almost kind of fell into my lap just like that. The art style is something I've never seen before. And just the way that they work and the direction that they gave me was so radically different from anything I'd ever seen. Normally you start a game and maybe you'll get some reference tracks, and they're usually from like film scores or sometimes even other game scores, and it's like, this is what we want. Well, in this case, all the reference I got was 20th century art music. It was modern art music rather than any kind of scoring. They were showing me Bartok and John Adams and Debussy and Dartavara and all these interesting 20th century composers. And so what I did was I wrote in a style that harkens back to that, while also incorporating a lot of like 1960s mode style synthesizer and things like that, to just get a unusual sound that's quite alien and quite foreign, but also makes sense internally. Like you can see, especially once you, I believe this demo eventually gets to some of the alien constructs. You can see that this is a civilization that you've landed in. And it's real, it's developed, but it's just so radically different from anything on Earth. And I wanted to evoke that with the music.
That's really cool. Yeah, I was playing the last couple of days, and like what you're saying about the art style and the presentation, it is something that I haven't seen before. It feels like a mixed medium art piece, right? You have these like textured layers that look like paper, right? In the foreground and the background, but then you have these 3D elements, and everything is tied together so well that when you you get to the alien world, it does feel like a foreign place in a surreal type of way, which I definitely respect. So that's interesting how you came about that. Can you tell us a little bit about like how you get started as far as like, so you talked about like the reference that you use and what they've kind of talked about the textures that they want in the music, but how do you get started as far as like with composition?
Yeah. So, by the way, if you want to get out of this ship, I think you go up and to the left, and then you're trying to get down. So there's like a chute that you go down to get to the next level.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm here to
it's
struggle, but brother, just leave me.
Gameplay, so it's big on exploration. It's not super easy to. Yeah, I think you go down this elevator.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
But as far as my process, I'm quite old-fashioned. In fact, you can almost see here. You know, I always start with scoring on paper, because for me that just lets me be freely creative. I don't have to worry about the technicalities of working on a PC right away. And once I have pieces fleshed out like that, just being freely creative and not having to worry about the reality of how is this all going to come together in the production. Then I go to the PC and develop things there. And once that's all finished and I have approval from the developers, that's when I seek out the live musicians to perform their score.
Oh, okay. So you're working with live musicians.
Quite frequently, yeah. I'm very lucky to be able to do that.
That is awesome. Is that how you approach most of your compositions? Is live? I see a guitar in the background too. So you're like, you must be picking up.
Yeah.
Because I think you told us about this before. You play mad instruments. Like you play a ton of different instruments, right?
Yeah. Well, I apologize for what's about to happen here, but like I have a whole rack of man, you can't even see, but like
that's awesome.
Yeah, though. I'm mostly a flautist. In fact, that's me playing right now. But I try to work with other musicians as much as possible, and in fact, I try to specifically write parts for the players, in particular, that I plan to hire later on. Just kind of playing to their strengths and what I know that they enjoy, what I hope that they'll enjoy performing. Because that's, again, kind of a more old school, traditional way of thinking about music. I'm not super keen on the modern MIDI-based stuff. I'd much rather work with people. That's just a lot more satisfying to me personally.
Totally. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Well, I mean, it's very inspiring what you do and how you work and stuff. Do you have any advice for young composers getting into the game and, you know, who are interested in making this happen, but may have been struggling, you know, to figure out how to make things happen?
Yeah, you know, this might sound a little bit cheesy, but the answer is real friendships. And that's honestly what carries you in so many different ways. Like, first off, on the subject of musicians and the creation of these scores, if you make friends with other musicians, maybe they're fellow composers, maybe they're performers who are trying to start that career, you can have them perform on your demos and on your scores and whatnot. And now suddenly your music sounds way better than your competition who's just using MIDI, you know, fake versions of the same thing. You have the real musicians performing. So there's that angle, but then there's also, and this is kind of, the way I say it is you have to kind of play the long game.
Yeah.
In terms of like career development and whatnot. You know, a friend that you make in 2014 might end up being someone who leads you to get a project 5-10 years later even. I mean, like my first gig at LucasArts, I got that because I was, before that, working on a bunch of indie games, and I worked with a sound designer who eventually got hired at LucasArts. When they were hiring for a music editor, they were like, why not hire that Will Roger guy? And these things kind of just snowballed over time, and one gig kind of led to another, not because of that gig in particular, but because of the people that I encountered working on those projects.
That is totally true. I've found that exactly the same. Like when you're starting out, you're grinding, you're just trying to make things happen, and you're meeting all these cool people and being nice to them and formulating these friendships and just like naturally being interested in what they do and how they love to express themselves has allowed us, you know, allowed me personally to keep moving forward and up. You know, I mean, you never know. I may be hitting you up like, hey, we got this cool project that we're trying to work on, and you know, we work together or something like that. Or someone sees this stream or something like that. So yeah, but thank you so much for hopping on. I hope that we can connect in the future. That was a new Distance Light, right? Distant Light.
The Distant Light.
The Distant Light. Amazing. I didn't even realize that you played the flute in that particular point in the game. That's and I didn't realize it was all live either. That is so dope, dude. Like cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks so much. And check out Anu. I believe that is, you can what is it called? You can wish list it now. Check it out. It's coming out soon. So this dude's still playing.
That's it. That's it. I can't put this down. I can't put this down. Okay. All right.
But yeah, we'll hit you up soon. Anu.
Awesome game, brother. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, and I would love to continue to work with you as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Cool. All right, we have another game popping up. Well, let's talk about game heads too, because that is a component of this.
Yes. So game heads, we have the developers of color, we have artists of color who are producing unique games. We have a number of games that are out there right now. We're partnering with the USC games as well. So some of our students have gone on and gone to school at USC and are currently producing games there. My son was in the Game Heads program, and he has a game out as well. And we're all good. And and one of the great things about the program is that the games are all developed by students of color and women, and we're talking about unique stories that aren't being told right now. These stories are about students of color. They're about our communities. They're about our experiences, and that's one of the things that's really important about the content that's being developed.
Yeah, your son Joe recently went to Japan to show off his game.
Yes.
Traeger.
Yes.
Right. And that's an amazing experience. When I was like 18 or 17, you know what I mean? Just being able to do that. And that's what, game heads help to support to make that happen. And there was other developers as well that were able to take that trip, right?
Absolutely. Kai, who's one of the developers who worked on Traeger, and Cryptovin was one of the other games that they had out there. Yeah, it was a great experience for them. A little bit of rocky start because they had some trouble with passports and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But they were out there. They spent the week out there in Japan and met with a bunch of business folks out there. And Joe's trying to get his game into some of the arcades in Japan right now, and it's really amazing experience. So
cool. Yeah, so we're gonna have since that is a component, we're gonna have the ability for you to donate to this charity for Game Heads. We're locking that in. It should be in the chat. And next up is Tony Barnes, an amazing influence on the game development community and game development in general. So let's roll to hit his trailer right now.
The difference for you and me is I seize the moment and you with that foolery. Shine like the jewelry. Hit them like boom, what you gon' do to me? You ain't got speed like me. You ain't fast, you ain't quick, you ain't swift for your feet like me. I got endurance. By that look in your eyes, I can tell that you nervous. But you won't ever beat me. And I'll be out so fast that you won't ever meet me. Don't hate it, I'm the greatest. Stick it slug, bro. No opposition. Myself is the only competition. So slam, bam, bam, boom. Making his head make some damn boom. Oh. Now that's how you change the game. That's how you change the game, man. Start with a little bit of to be great, man. It's something I want. Like you, now, slam, boom. That's how you change the game. That's how you change the game. Oh. Now that's how you change the game. Now slam, boom. Now that's how you change the game.
So that was Tony Barnes' amazing demo reel. He's been in the business for decades and very influential in game development. We met for the first time, I believe, at an E3 when I was introduced through a friend. And when he was telling me the games that he worked on, I was like, that's basically my childhood. I cannot believe
I've played at least half of those games, and it's super amazing that we're talking to him right now. So I'm very excited about this opportunity.
What's up, Tony? How you doing?
I'm on. It's 11 on a Sunday, so yeah.
I feel you. Where are you at? Are you in LA?
Technically Orange County, but yeah, SoCal.
Nice.
But I'm Bay Area born and raised, so that's 415.
All right.
Yes.
Represent Oakland. What's up?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So if everyone doesn't know, we're actually in Berkeley, really close. I live in Oakland. It's been a crazy experience being here through everything that's happened. It's been emotionally draining, to be honest. And you're saying like 11 a.m. on a Sunday. We were like scrambling. Let's get this show together. Let's talk to all these amazing developers. And we're seeing this firsthand every day since, everything's happened with George Floyd and the previous tragedies, So it's amazing to have you on board and that you represent Oakland as well. But yeah, we want to talk to you about like your wealth of knowledge and experience in the game industry. It like I was saying when we first met, I just couldn't believe that all of the stuff that you've worked on, because you're not like extremely boisterous about, you know what I mean? Everything that you've done,
Yeah, I used to have a little slogan that I was the biggest thing you've never heard of, because I'm all over the place, but never really shouting about it. I think it's time for that. So.
So when did you get started? When did you get your first start?
So I started when I was 12. They put Apple computers in school, so I was like 6th grade, and the teachers didn't know what to do with them. So I said, "Oh, I know. but I was lying. But you fake it till you make it. So the teacher was like, all right, well, we'll let Tony, have some fun. And I wanted to be an animator, actually. I was doing stop motion, I wanted to be the next Ray Harryhausen combined with like George Lucas and Prince somehow. And when I got a hold of the computer, it was like, oh, I can move stuff. It doesn't take 6 months, so let me do this. And then I just started learning how to program from there. And then it just boomed. But I grew up dirt poor, so couldn't have a computer of my own. So I ended up actually writing down programs, like during class and everything. I write them on binder paper. Then take the binder paper, and I would walk to my friend's house. My friend lived about 2 miles away. I'd walk to his house, type in stuff, see what worked, fix what didn't, and I just kept doing that until I actually got a game done. Then growing up in the Bay Area, you're fortunate, it's pre-internet, but I was fortunate I had access to game companies around. So there was this magazine called Antic, and it was all about the Atari. I just, I straight walked into their offices because I looked at the address. It was downtown San Francisco. Yep.
That's amazing.
I sat down, I made like 3 games, and then I walked in with a disc and I handed it to them and said, you guys can use these. And the receptionist looked at me like I was nuts and said, okay, I'll pass it on. And I didn't think anything was going to happen. I'm just a 14-year-old kid. And sure enough, they called me back and said, we love them. Here, sign away your rights. And I did.
Wow.
And it was sold.
That's crazy. So you essentially basically bootstrapped your own games and got yourself into the industry. I'm thinking back to when I wanted to actually get into gaming and how I was sort of essentially wasn't able to get in. I just went into tech. I never thought of the fact just walking into some corporate office and like, here's my stuff and I'm gonna throw it in your face. That's very bold. That takes a lot of courage that I don't think a lot of people have. And if somebody was going to be entering this industry, how would you sort of what advice would you give them in order to like really as a developer of color, as a person who's seriously interested in being in this business? What would your recommendation be to get started?
I always tell everybody, make something. Make something. It's the most important thing. Don't. It's going to sound harsh, but ideas are free, execution cost. So everybody's got an idea. I can give you like 10 ideas right now and not even sweat it because I know that it's only down to the people that are going to make it. And I've done thousands and thousands of interviews for designers and artists over my 35 years at various companies. And the people that I look at and the people that I put on are the ones that made something, the ones that can show me that they're hungry and they want it. Not, I got an idea. How about, Jean-Claude Van Damme and others? It's like, what?
I say that all the time too. It's crazy.
And the thing is, it's like, I guess I was bold. I don't know. I was just like, I got these games. My friends like them. Maybe I could, get in there. But nowadays, you have access. You have access to people. If somebody wants to hit me up, hit me up on Twitter. You have access to all the information you need. You have engines. And so really, you need to get out there and get your idea out there. And even if somebody doesn't want to put you on, that's like, a publisher or whatever, you can ship it yourself, and I didn't have that when I grew up. So I went into AAA and into working for people. I think I worked for people a little longer than I should have, but I went into that route because you couldn't really distribute your own stuff back in the 80s, you had to have somebody. So that now you can push a button and talk to millions of people.
Real quick, can you run down a list? I know we just saw your demo, right? And you've been working on games for, you said 35 years, right?
Yeah.
What can you run down your list of some of the games that you worked on? Because I think that people need to hear that, you know.
No, see, honestly, I forget sometimes when I'm running stuff through my head, because there's stuff that I've touched and it's been like, oh yeah, that's right, General Chaos, Crewball,
This dude behind the camera is like, General Chaos. I remember that. I was like, we should have another General Chaos. But anyway, my bad.
We should. And actually, I just saw that the original. So I did some what they call AP, assistant producer kind of. So it's kind of design light, but mostly feedback and all that. But I was talking to the original designer, and he's trying to get off the ground a sequel.
That is
so
dope. Yeah.
A lot of us old heads are out there going, you know what? People liked our stuff before, maybe we should do it again. But yeah, that was just a handful of 16-bit stuff. There's Legacy of Kain, Madden Football, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I think is actually, it's over there somewhere. Yeah. Wrath. Worked on pre-production for Getting Up, which is Mark Echo.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. That was fun because we basically had to throw everything away that we had started on, and then basically did that game in about a year, start to finish, while the movie was moving out from underneath us. Star Trek DS9 The Fallen, Strider, love Strider, and Medal of Honor 2010, and of course the Strike series, Desert, Jungle, Urban, Soviet, Nuclear. Even briefly, there's stuff that I've touched, like I said, I forgot, like even worked on some these stunt levels in Jet Mode 3. I wish I had done a nice healthy list. Dude, that's off the top of my head. And there's a whole slew of edutainment stuff. That I had done too. Because see, I have twins. Shout out to Alan and William. Those are twins. They're now like.
Braccialetti rossi.
I know I hate to say that.
Ha rinunciato a
Makes me
fare
something else. But I got
alle 20:40.
and I always thought, I want to do some educational stuff. So back in '90, I did some educational stuff, Berenstain Bear stuff. Did the first CD-ROM ever for Windows called Compton's New Media Encyclopedia, which is based on Britannica Encyclopedia. It's been a long road.
So what's the next evolution? You got Retro Ninja. You just announced that you were doing your own thing. You're sparking a new venture. You want to take this into your own hands. So what do you got going on right now? Can you talk a little bit about Retro Ninja?
Yeah. So Retro Ninja is my new independent company down here in SoCal. I was just sitting there, and I get antsy when I'm not making stuff, often. And like every second of every day, there's a new idea, But like I said, you gotta make it. And if you're sitting there working for somebody else and their schedule, what they're doing is not kind of aligning with what you want to do, then maybe you got to make a change. And so I was sitting there and going, it's been over 3 decades, and I should probably make that change right now. So Retro Ninja is my new company, and it's focused on the kind of games I used to make, you know, arcade, action, adventure, brawling, all of that stuff. Stuff that a lot of companies aren't doing right now because they don't, you know, they're just chasing the big money. Everybody's like, how do I make the new Fortnite, or how do I make, you know, Last of Us 3 or whatever. And that's cool. I got plenty of friends that work on all and all that. But when I sit and think about what I like to play on the regular and what I like to make, it's not those type of games, you know. It's more like what I've done before, like Strider, like Buffy, you know, even to some extent like Millimon, and certainly like Kane and Strike, where they're mechanics focused games, they're, you know, arcade action games, and there's something really visceral about them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I was working in a big studio environment, a lot of people would go, oh, we can't do that because that's just over the top. Well, that's the money. You know?
Yeah, you gotta do unique things.
So why do you think there's a sort of a non-investment in the sort of the game mechanics and the sort of retro games anymore? Why do you think it's not investing in that?
Like I said, a lot of them are chasing the big money because they need to put, you know, so many people in place, and they need to feed that machine. You know, I'm not looking at, I'm not looking at putting 100 people onto something for 3 years or even more than that. So the return on investment for me is a lot lower than someone like Electronic Arts or something going, we need to make sure that this thing sells, you know, 20 million units, or it's a failure or something like that. So they're out there doing the big blockbuster stuff, you know, kind of like Hollywood, and that's cool because I think you need that. You need that engine to help drive. It's great whenever outsiders look at our business and go, oh, look at how many billions it makes. But the little guys aren't making the billions. You know, I ain't making billions, and so I just think there's an underserved market in that it's because those guys don't see big dollars there until maybe someone else does it, and then they go, oh, you know, we'll do it. So if I have to go in there and show them that there's still value in doing something that's like, you know, AA or big I indie, then I'm down. I'll do that.
What is your team composed of? Are you rolling this out like lone wolf style, or do you have a team that's surrounding you developing your next projects? Just curious.
I have a short list of people, and they know who they are, or maybe they don't. I'm probably going to get a...
Che forma gli è venuto? Gli è venuto quasi 2000 anni fa, guarda bene.
Right now, this first one
sì, ma guarda bene cosa gli è venuto ora, come è venuta la finestra.
That's primarily because,
cosa sembra? Sembra 2000 anni fa.
But also, when you make something and you're part of a big team and everything, everybody's like, oh yeah, like, oh, that's cool, you know, you made this thing, but what really did you do? And it's great to be in a team.
Okay.
For me, coming from where I came from, like I told you, I sat down and wrote my first game on binder paper and then turned it in and everything. I just wanted to roll back to that. You know, for this first one that I'm gonna roll out, I wanted to show people is like, by the way, I didn't just put those things about music and code and arts and design on my resume for bullet points. I mean it. I live it every day.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty sick, like, for sure.
So I want to talk a little bit about access in the industry. I know that there's obviously a problem with access for folks of color in this industry. So what did you
Arcina a cavallo.
besides just bootstrap yourself. And so how did you, you worked at AAA, you worked in a number of really profitable on titles. Like, how did you network your way, and how did you sort of overcome these barriers as a person in the industry?
Niente ancora.
I'll tell you, probably the first thing was not going by my real name. That sounds funny. But honestly, like everybody knows me. And part of the reason I changed my name was because people just couldn't say my name. Yeah, my name is Lavelle, my real name. And for some strange reason, people could not say it. I'm not even, you know what? I'm not going to tell you the catalyst that made me change my name. I'll just say it was a teacher that called me out my name in third grade because she couldn't say it. But really? Yeah.
Wow.
But you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. The name thing. It might still be there, to be honest. You know, like I don't know. I don't know if I would have been put on as much if I was Lavelle. Someone looked at a resume and said, "Who's Lavelle? Am I going to hire him?" But
so you legally changed your name to Tony.
Yeah, but I'm not telling people to change their name.
Yeah,
I'm giving you some insight. But like I feel like things like this are great because I never knew. I never knew that there was anybody like me out there making games. You know, it wasn't until being in games for like 10, 15 years that I even heard of Jerry Lawson. And you know, there could be others like Jerry or like me who nobody knows about. So trying to, you know, not just be out there saying, "Oh, waving my banner and saying I'm a ninja," but I'm trying to let people know we're out there. We've been there. We've been influencing. We've been touching the products that you guys love, and so support us. You know, get us in the door, and if we can't get in the door, then support us. You know, with your love, with your words, and with your dollars.
That's because. For sure. Yeah, I think what's really interesting is you said you wrote out a program, a game, you went in and handed it off. I think that's what a lot of us do in this industry, game development wise. Like we're not, you know, like you're saying, you don't run around with a banner. I don't run around saying, "Hey, guess what? I'm black, guys." You know what I mean? I'm just being super honest. It's like I'm working really hard to do whatever it takes to make this happen. I told myself that I would die before I quit to get into this industry, and I didn't even think about the racial aspect because we're dealing with this every day. So that's just a part of it anyway. It's just really making the work speak for itself, grinding to make things happen, make games, and that kind of thing. And that's awesome that you represent that, and that's a testament, you know, to that kind of mindset. Like we're developers, like we're grinding on that.
We are all creators. We are all artists. You know, it's crazy. I was sitting there at Amazon, and they hired this kid. His name's Trey Vitale. Check he's a tech artist. Check his stuff out. He's awesome. But like he came in, and they were showing him around. And the second that he turned the corner and saw me, I saw his eyes light up. And we looked at each other and we knew, you know that look. And the thing is like there should be more of that. And I got out because I was sitting there getting place. I was like, you know, it's all good. I've been doing this for like 3 decades. He was new, you know, and he still is. And he has that fire where he was like, well, you know, I'm this on the line, that hustle and all that. And I was like, man, where do you find the time for all that? And he said, you just gotta make time. You just gotta make time. Even if it's just 1 hour a day. 1 hour, that's still 1 hour closer. And it's crazy. I've been doing this forever. And and it took the new generation to remind that guy walked into that shop with a disc in his hand and said, "You need these games."
That's why I work with the students in our programs. They keep me engaged, keep that fire in me, because I'm seeing the industry through their eyes. Because my industry is much different than the industry. Like, my brand new, I was in the industry. It was always like the only black when you see a small number of folks in that industry, and you're like, all right, now there's a little bit of momentum. I want to push harder. It even gives me that drive harder to want to do more.
Yeah, I think
Anche se ho perso un po' di unità.
We're gonna say something.
Sorry. No. So, yeah. I mean, that's again why I'm out here. It's like, I'm not just out here trying to make my own banner. I'm just like trying to let people know, hey, we're out here and we've been here. So I'm gonna get mine. You get yours. You know? and honestly, the best way to do it is to do it.
Yeah, you just gotta make things happen. Yeah.
Don't talk about it. Be it. I feel bad that I couldn't get you a trailer for my new thing, but you know,
Your new thing is though. Yeah, we'll do this again. This is not gonna be the one and only time we do this.
I mean, you saw a little snippet.
It looks super sick. I was like, he did this by himself. Of course. And you, I mean, before we wrap up, like, you aren't just a programmer. You're doing art, design, rigging, probably. Like, you're running the gamut of the development process. And it's, I think what's interesting, like you're saying, don't talk it, or don't just say you have these ideas. You have to put in the work to understanding how each one of these facets of the development work. Because I mean, number one, even if you do want to just be an artist, or you do want to just be a designer, you having the ability to understand each one of those areas of game development allows you to communicate to those people who are going to be in your team that much better. And to be a manager, or to be a producer, or if you're an artist and you're trying to get the programmer to do something design-wise, you need to communicate that, and you understand it from their perspective, and they will understand it from our perspective. So grinding to make that happen, to understand that, is, I think that's vital too. Like, if you really want this, you got to really, do everything it takes to make it happen.
Yeah. Because I mean, for every one success story, there's 10,000 people that said, "I got an idea and didn't do anything with it." Maybe 100,000. So,
but thank you so much for hopping on board. On board, Tony. It was amazing to talk to you as always. Where can they find you? And just share about info about Retro Ninja, what you got going on, and then.
I mean, I'm out there on all the Twitters, Facebooks, all that. Part of the my son is my younger twin is rocking modeling and acting right now. So he's active on TikTok, and I'm an old head. I'm not a boomer though. Don't even but you can check me on retroninja.com, retroninja5 on Twitter, Facebook/retroninja, and I'm always open.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Everybody, check out Retro Ninja. Some amazing things on the horizon.
Perché penso di fare una registrazione anche dedicata a social fire.
I do want to just take a minute to thank everybody, all the folks who are with us streaming this actually. So Twitch has been an amazing supporter. GameSpot, IGN, like just allowing us to share what's going on now with these folks and broadcasting it to everyone. They've been a very strong component of that and have, even when we were shifting Guerrilla Collective, they were like, yo, you guys, we will still support you guys 100%. We're going to go this weekend, even if we have to shift. And that means a whole lot, during this time.
That's truly amazing. And I want to thank Justin for letting me co-host with him. I'm not a traditional gamer. I'm also a tech guy, but I'm supporting gaming and I'm supporting tech. And I just love to see folks of color doing their thing and like really promoting our craft.
Ritornato a fare.
Thanks for joining me. Yes, so we got Marcus Montgomery on board next, but let's promote Gameheads again. Well, he's going to be doing that with you guys. I mean, you guys are homies on the same board. But yeah, Marcus Montgomery. We have a video that we're going to roll out for Gameheads, I believe. So let's do that right now.
Gameheads is very diverse and we're very close to each other.
We teach game design and development from the ground up. They make video.
Vedi, spegne il resto.
It's not every day that a kid lives in West Oakland. It's an opportunity.
Perché come cosa?
Trained, mentored by somebody
O ti dico, questo qua, o ti dico, Fortune Empire come un gioco è veramente bello. Infatti, lo chissà adesso un attimo, capire se mai ci sarà, infatti, chissà nel futuro che cosa aggiungeranno. Un attimo, cosa? Ci siamo ancora. Ci siamo ancora.
My team was very inspired in creating a game that involved the YouTube movement.
Tra poco, ecco qua. Tra poco.
The game that has
Non te l'ho messo.
This game is basically about
Facciamo ancora 3 ore. Poi 3 ore.
It was able to teach people
Un'ora.
that toxic masculinity shouldn't be okay and that we can fight against it. Diversity is important in the game industry because even though you know the context, you won't be able to know like the feeling, through experiences. So you need different people with different experiences to convey emotions that a player can feel themselves. Gameheads is definitely promoting people to be more open about who they are, and they teach them about how their identity can affect what is in the gaming industry. The one and only game that I worked on is called Offbeat Asian. You, as a character, might personify Asia's stereotypical metaphors, what an Asian would be fit into.
So what we found is that 50% of our students are in college studying science, technology, engineering, design, or math. And those are a big deal for us.
I think it's important for Gameheads to exist in Oakland because there's so many people that want to go into a big career path in Oakland. So I think Gameheads really opens an opportunity for them to expand whatever they need to expand. We need that type of representation. We don't always do it when it comes to different cities. We all experience different things. Gameheads is really just kind of pushing people who have different backgrounds and different ideas and kind of giving them a platform to kind of reach out to other people who look like us.
So that was the clip from Gameheads, who this dude Alfonso helps represent, and also our next guest, Marcus Montgomery, who's a veteran game developer as well. He supports this, and he's on the line. So we're going to chat with him for a minute. What is popping? What's up, Marcus? What's going on, brother?
What's going on? It's good to be here.
How you doing?
I'm good. Good.
Your scenery is amazing, by the way. How it's like reflecting.
Oh.
It looks sick.
Well, you already know how great it is. That's the result of my wife, because you know I ain't got no style.
That's amazing. That's true. Yeah, so it's thanks so much for joining us. All this has been coming together, and you hopped on board to talk about, your experience in the game industry. I think that's extremely important. I remember when I met you for the first time. I can't remember. We met each other in passing a few times at some of these meetups, and these Bay Area meetups. And then at Gameheads, when I was checking out the showcase for the first time, like 3 years ago, I believe. And then we just start chopping it up, and you were telling me like where you were working and the things you were working on, and I'm like, what the hell? That's so awesome. Again, my eyes light up every time I hear another game developer of color, and we're able to exchange war stories and stories about what we're doing and hustling and that kind of thing. Can you talk a little bit about your background?
Right. I'm a game designer. I've been in the industry 20 some odd years now. I rival Tony, but Tony definitely has so much more done. I've been in the industry 20 some odd years. I got started at Sega. I was in the test department. And before that, actually, I just, how do I put this? I wanted to get in the industry. I studied computer science. I got a degree in computer science and was going to go back to Wisconsin and learn how to write database software for banks. And that wasn't really what I wanted to do. Before I graduated, I wrote a letter and said, I want an internship. I want any sort of entry-level position you can give me. And from there, they wrote me back maybe about a month after me being home and saying, hey, we've got an internship. Would you like to come out? And I said, yes. And I packed up the car. 2 days later, I was in the Bay Area trying to make my way.
Oh my God, that is like, that resonates so much. That's exactly what happened to me. And I'm not trying to make this about me, but like, I can't help it. Like when I didn't even know that. But yeah, that's the same thing. Like I was like, do or die. I was in San Diego. I got this opportunity at IGN to showcase our game and live up here and work for 3 months. I had no money. And I was like, I got a loan from the school to pay for myself, packed up our shit, and just drove to San Francisco.
If I remember correctly, you were in some reality game show when you started.
Yeah,
that's how you first got on my radar.
Oh, really? I didn't even know anyone saw that.
Oh, I saw it, and I was like, oh, there's a brother out here trying to do some sort of game. And then I remember it was Combo Man, and I was like, that looks right up my alley. I need to know who this dude is.
Yeah.
So I always kept an eye out for you.
Cool.
What's interesting about all of you guys' stories, your story, Marcus, all these stories, is that you guys have to put everything on the line in order to get into the industry. That seems a little terrible. Because from a perspective of like how folks of color get in this industry, it's like, all right, what I want you to do is like, if you want to get in the game industry, you need to risk everything, and if you make it, you'll be fine. If you don't, then
But I mean, the thing about it is, it makes you that much stronger. And from my perspective, is that it makes you that much stronger, and it didn't matter. Like anything could get thrown at me. You know what I mean? Any obstacle could get thrown at me. I'm dying for this, for what I want to do. So it didn't matter. I would make it. And you're right. It's like, it's not easy.
That's a serious barrier. You guys are confident people, so I think you and Marcus and the folks that we've talked to are like super confident and driven folks. But what that does is it sets you apart from everyone else. It's like you have to be exceptional in order to get in this industry. And that's the thing that I'm trying to sort of take down those barriers with the Game Heads program and with the DevOps program. Is like, yes, I want you to work hard. I want you to invest in yourself, but you shouldn't have to risk everything that you are in order to be in this industry. Like it's about access to this industry.
Non metto nessuno di difesa, non perché non voglio, ma perché sennò la uccidono, devo rifare tutto quanto da capo, non mi va.
Most people can't make it because they don't have a computer at home, they don't have internet, they don't have there's all these barriers that are up in front of us. So
there's a lot of things that are barriers, and I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I think for my situation, 20 some odd years ago, there was no industry that I knew of outside of probably Valley Midway arcade games that I could get into. And that wasn't something that I knew about or how to do. Sega was something I loved, and I threw out that Hail Mary. Once I got out here, and 15, 20 years ago, you realize the Bay Area is where you needed to be if you wanted to learn and thrive and build a career in video games. That is not the case anymore. As with Unity and Unreal and Game Maker and all these other different software packages, there's been a democratization of effort. And the risk is not necessarily as strong, but the truth is, if you want to work at certain developers, you want to work with certain particular studios, you're going to have to leave where you are to go do that. That may be changing now that everyone realizes remote working is possible for a lot of different studios. We've been thrust into that realization. I've worked with companies that have had remote working before. But that said, there is a certain amount of, I think the key thing that needs to be really said is there needs to be grit.
Yes, exactly.
You need to want to do this. Like, you just can't say, this isn't working at McDonald's. You can't just say, I'm going to go put in an application here, here, and here, and just work. Yeah, there's access there, but the barrier to success is really, really low. For games, there's a lot of effort and focus and skill and a drive that you need to have to learn, because the industry, you know this, Alfonso, 5 years ago, security software is different than what it is today, right? And you have to be on top of. Every year, you need to be learning something new. Every 2 years, you need to learn something new.
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months. And so the same thing is with gaming. So this is one of the things that we've been trying to, at least with Gameheads, and one of the things I think has been great, is that we're trying to instill that understanding of grit. We also comprehend not all of our students are going to necessarily move into the industry, but we do want to teach them the aspects of grit that are going to make them successful in whatever avenues they choose to pursue. And we've been seeing that become beneficial as our students move off into USC, they move off into San Diego, UC San Diego, they move off into NYU, Chico, Santa Cruz, all these different places. And that's the sort of thing that's going to help them survive, and not just in school, but in their careers beyond.
Yeah, I think that would start, since we're having a dialogue, like a triangular dialogue about this. It was like about to get heated for a second. But one thing I do think because I think grit is in the industry is a major factor for anyone, but the access comes with executives, and executives making the decision to also see other minorities or people of color having the grit, wherewithal, and then the education and experience in order to pull them up, right? And that's what, when there's all these funds, like Gameheads is really an amazing component in that, because you're teaching kids from the ground level up to get their education, to understand how the industry works, that type of thing. But the folks that have already graduated are trying to get into it, and there's these, like right now, because of the Black Lives Matter movement, all these things, there's these funds popping up everywhere. But what I feel that they should do also, while doing charitable events like with Gameheads and the NAACP and that type of thing, they need to put their money where their mouth is and actually start hiring internally executives to help out, competent executives who know what they're doing, to hire other folks, people of color too. So that's just my random. That's
not random.
Okay.
It is not random at all. Like one of the things that I think is the thing that I think has been very important about the Gameheads program is that we're really trying to tackle the pipeline at all points along the path. So we're trying to get kids right in high school. We're carrying them through college. But then the thing that we're still trying to build into our program, and this would be a call out to gaming studios and these publishers, is that we need internships. We need paths into employment. We're building those executives right now.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
They can look at game heads. We're building those executives, and they're ready, and they will be ready in the next 3 to 5 years. But they need that doorway. They need that opportunity, and we're not getting those internships. We're not getting those entry-level positions to bolster their actual application of the knowledge we're trying to build on them right now.
Yeah.
The pipeline fails.
Yes. Speaking of that, so I run the DevOps program at Gameheads, and I've been able to do that with the DevOps program because I was an executive at a healthcare startup. So as the students sort of applied for opportunities at the organization, I was the hiring manager. So it made it easier for those students to get into that organization, and 4 of them have full-time positions and are doing really well and thriving. So all it takes is one individual inside of an organization to care enough to actually make that investment and to connect with our program or any program that's doing this kind of work. So
or just in the real world in general, you know what I mean? When I was young, if I had game heads, I'd be on top of that, but I didn't. So, but if there were other people, and I've had amazing mentors of all colors, but if there were some that I could identify with, that would be, very amazing. Oh, go ahead.
I would just say it's one thing. Speaking on that, we're always looking for mentors. That's one of the key components of the Gameheads program, right? So one of the things we do is we work with professional developers across different game studios. We've got folks from Ubisoft, we have people from Microsoft, we have folks from